Intuitive viewers. Welcome and happy Mother's Day. I hope this video is not a rambling mess, but I have some things that I want to talk about. And if you're not in the mood for a rambling mess, then, listen to it while you're going to sleep tonight or another time. But I first want to just say happy Mother's Day to everybody, whether you are a mom of children or fur babies, or whether you are a surrogate mom for somebody who just thinks of you as their mom, or whether you are just a fan and have a connection with Mother Earth. Enjoy yourself today. Indulge in what part you play as mom, because we're all some sort of a mother or have a connection to Mother. So please enjoy yourself, pamper yourself, give yourself something special today, and pat yourself on the back for surviving the last several years, just as a woman, period. Anyway, but happy Mother's Day. I'm spending it with Cassie. We're going to see my mom. I'm going to help her out for the next couple of days. And so I'm very thankful this Mother's Day. So I wanted to tell you a couple of messages that I'm getting really repeatedly. One is this surgery with Putin. I keep hearing golden opportunity. I don't feel good about it. It feels very strange to me. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I just wanted to put that out there, and that's what I keep getting. The other thing I keep getting is that May 9th, and I think that's tomorrow, there's something about showing a show of force, and something about pushing the envelope. So I wanted to put that out there as well. The other thing, and I'm not really interpreting too much, because I don't want to put fear into anybody, especially if I'm not quite sure. So I'm just giving you these messages, and maybe you guys, if you guys know what's going on or can shed some light, you can email me or please put it in the comments. I'd rather have you put it in the comments, because then you can talk amongst yourselves, because you guys are great at doing that and figuring things out and talking kind of about these things. So I'm just putting that out there. And the last thing I want to tell you is that I was looking at Samuel Alito, and when I was concentrating on him and doing some psychometry with him with his photo, to me, he seems a little, and I don't mean to put this in a weird way, but more like dementia. There's something about the glaze in his eyes. I don't know if you've ever noticed this before, but when you see people that are going a little nuts, they're kind of going off the edge, they're having a nervous breakdown, they're depressed, they have dementia, they have Alzheimer's. There's a look in their eyes that's kind of almost like a faraway look, as though they're not looking at what we're looking at. They're kind of seeing beyond that in some way, either illusions, delusions, maybe the other side. They're kind of off in another place. And he has that look. And when I was kind of holding his image and his picture in my hands, not his physical picture, but my phone with his picture in it, and I was tuning into it, there was something that came out kind of off. And I feel like he's always been kind of a mean guy. I mean, entertainment purposes only, just kind of a insensitive guy. Okay, let's just put it that way. But there's something off. And so I just wanted to put that out there and let you know that his thinking, when you start to kind of lose it, but in some ways still have your kind of intelligence, it can be a very dangerous combination, right? So that, I think, is what's happening with him. There's something that has snapped, that has clicked, that is happening in his brain. So I just also wanted to put that out there to you guys as well. Okay, so that's the political part. So if that's what you came for, you got it. There it is. The rest of this video is going to be some messages that I wanted to pass along that I just hope will help you. And I hope will help you going forward, because that is my job. That's what I want to do. Oh, I'm wearing my go-go shirt. Just want to point that out. Yeah, women, they finally got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, finally. Anyway, I wanted to kind of tell you something personal that I've alluded to it, but I haven't really shared it fully on the channel, and I want to do that right now. You've heard me talk about the fact that I was a singer for many years. For about 30 years, I was a professional singer, and I sang in bands, and I traveled and did lots of things with bands, and it was a wonderful time. And I personally feel that talents, especially when we're born with a certain talent, and we all are born with talents, first of all, whether it's a talent with, understanding people, or being a people person, or having complete integrity that you're born with, we all have different types of talents, and some of them are display talents like singing or dancing or writing. I personally have come to the conclusion that we bring these things with us almost like security blankets, and they are to remind us of the divine. And I've always wondered why certain people are born with certain talents. And that's the conclusion I've come to through lots of readings with other readers, and also just through my own experiences and asking this question over and over again. Why do we have these things? Why do we have these traits or talents that are kind of special, or just a little bit more than other people? I think it's something we bring with us, almost like a security blanket to remind us of the divine. That's what I think. Anyway, it was something that I've always done and could always do even as a little girl. Could carry a tune, could harmonize, understood music in a different way that I didn't understand other things from a very young age. Anyway, so it was always my dream to sing, always my dream to earn a living from singing. And I did that. And for 30 years, I did that. So what I wanted to share with you is, and this is why I haven't so far, because I don't ever want it to come across as braggadocious, because it really is just an experience that I had, and I just want to share it. In the mid 90s to the early 2000s, I was in a band that was very high profile. And if Johnny is in the audience, or as he's listening to this, he knows what I'm talking about. He was my bandmate, and he as watches the channel. But I was in this band, and we were a very high profile band, working a ton. And it was during the .com explosion in the Bay Area. So we worked all over the Bay Area for very, very wealthy people, very successful companies for the rich and famous, basically. And we traveled all over, and it was most of it was just a really fun experience. But what I want to tell you, and something that I learned through this experience and that I've carried with me, is that, and I first have to begin by telling you, I've never been a materialistic person. For whatever reason, labels, this type of car, the new phone, the new this, it's never appealed to me. And that's just how I am. And that's always how I've been. I'm into more just like comfort, just being comfortable. So that's just me. And it's not to say it just doesn't appeal to me. So in this world that I was kind of thrust into because I love to sing, and that was the only reason I was there, because I just love to sing. That's ways that I got into the band. I love to sing. So going into these situations where we were at these parties and these events and these over the top, extravagant whatevers, something that I observed and that has stuck with me, and I want to share with you, is that money doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. We would play for people that were extraordinarily rich, and they'd have these over the top, ridiculous, parties or weddings or whatevers. company stuff, and what it would end up being is we'd come in and say, oh, wow, this is amazing. This is beautiful. We would do sound check. We would perform. We'd watch people around us get dressed in their beautiful clothes, get drunker and drunker, more high and more high or whatever, fall all over each other, try to impress each other, network, get sloppier and sloppier, go home, and then people would end up cleaning up the room. That's it. And somewhere during the performance, it almost makes me cry. I don't know why I'm getting emotional. During at some point in the performance, I'd be, enjoying doing the music, but at some point I'd always think, I can't wait to get home to my husband. I can't wait to get home to my little girl. And once we had Cassie, because we were married and didn't have Cassie at the beginning, and then I was pregnant performing, and then we had Cassie, and I would always at some point in the night think, I can't wait to get home. And we had a little 1-bedroom apartment, a little condo, which we still live in, and I couldn't wait to get home. And I think a lot of times what we're witnessing and what we have to witness is these people like Putin, like Trump, like all of these people slowly come to the conclusion that all of their money, all of their power is never going to fill that hole in the soul. And when they come to that realization, they get angry, or they get more greedy, or they want more, because it comes sooner or later, whether it's on their deathbed or at some time during a trial or whatever. Look no further than the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. Money and fame and beauty. And they are the two most sad, miserable people. So that is the first thing I want to tell you. And that is something I learned through that experience, and something I have carried with me. And it makes me grateful for the things that I have with this channel, with the readings that I do, the teaching that I do, the money that I earn. I get what I need, not what I want, what I need. Keep a roof over my head, get food on my table, go to see Cassie if I have to, and I give away the rest. That's what we're supposed to do, right? I mean, am I crazy? That's what we're supposed to do, right? Preschool lessons, share, cooperate, be kind. That's it, right? So simple. It's so simple. The other thing I want to tell you, and this may be the rambly part, but I need to tell you this because my guides have been at me to share this with you. And it came across in a really weird way. And I think even the way that it came across to me might be, it might tell you how your guides talk to you. Okay, so one day, this was about a week ago, I think, and I had overindulged in the news, of course, as I always do. And my guides are always after me to not do that, but I do it anyway. And that's what we do as people, is what we do. We don't always listen. And I overindulged, and I was feeling low. And I try to always get in that observer position when I get down and think, what's going on? What's happening? Is it something I need to delve into and kind of feel the feelings? Or am I just kind of feeling blue and I need to raise my vibration? That day I needed to raise my vibration. So I thought, well, music and something funny on TV, that's usually my go-tos for a quick vibration lift. So I start kind of clicking through the TV, and I see Little House on the Prairie. I'm like, oh, perfect. They always have like a moral lesson. They could get like a funny episode or a fun episode. And there's always kind of a religious component, which I always like. It's just that religious, but that Jesus-y part of me. So I'm flicking through, and I click on Little House on the Prairie, and the first 2 episodes are when Mary goes blind. Now, you've never seen the show. I'll just tell you, I'm not going to go. It's just the saddest episode. That one and when she loses her baby, those are the two like episodes you cry from start to finish. And I thought, there is no way in hell I'm watching Mary Goes Blind right now, because it will sink me to the depths of despair. So I keep clicking, but I keep thinking about it. And I know that, and for you guys, a teaching moment, right? When something comes back to you, this came in through in readings this week too. So, but when things repeat and come back to you, pay attention. It's usually your guides talking to you. And it's usually maybe something you don't want to hear or something you don't want to do, but they're telling you. So I go back and I click on the episode and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to start it and see what happens. I start it, hear the music, do, 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 do. And I hear in my mind's ear, pay attention. So I thought, okay, there's messages in here. I've got to do it. And it's for you guys. It's for me, but it's for you. So here we go. 3 messages in this episode for you guys, for me too. And this is going to involve me explaining the episode because I have to explain the context to give you the messages, okay? So bear with me. And like I said, if it's rambly, listen to it as you go to sleep tonight or whatever. But the episode begins when Pa is upset because the railroads are deciding they're not going to go through Walnut Grove anymore. I can't remember if they're not going to stop through Walnut Grove or they're not going to go through Walnut Grove anymore, but he's very upset because it's going to ruin the town. He'll lose his job at the mill. The farmers will be, they won't be able to get their stuff going all over the country. It's going to be a disaster for the town. And that's how we got a lot of ghost towns, right? The trains just stopped going there. So he's upset. He's reading the paper. Ma says, can we do anything? He says, no, the railroads are too big. They're going to win. We can't do anything. This is what's going to happen. You know, if it happens, it happens. But, you know, I'm mad as hell. So he's all mad about that. Mary comes down and is having headaches. And she says, I don't know. I don't think this prescription, my eye prescription is working anymore. Something's wrong. So Pa says, well, let's get you a new, prescription. We'll go into town tomorrow. They go into town tomorrow. They meet with the doctor. Through the exam, the doctor finds out that she had scarlet fever as a baby. And the look on his face says everything. And he asks Mary to step outside. He talks to Pa and says, listen, her nerves are damaged from the scarlet fever she had. She's going blind. And Pa, any episode where Pa or Mary cries, you're going to cry. I'm just saying they're the best criers on television. So he gets this, you know, he's stunned, of course, and upset. And he says, this can't happen. She's going to be a teacher. She's been working her whole life to be a teacher. That's all she wants to do. She's 16 years old. This cannot happen. Then he goes into resistance mode. I think you're wrong. I think you're lying. You're wrong. You're wrong about this. He leaves in a huff. He takes Mary and says, don't worry about it. Everything's fine. Goes home, tells Ma, in complete resistance again. The doctor said Mary's going blind. Ma freaks out. And he says, don't worry about it. I think he's wrong. We're not going to let this happen. This is not happening. She wants to be a teacher. She's 16 years old. This is not happening to our daughter, right? So Ma and Pa are both in complete resistance to what is happening, right? Complete resistance. Sorry about the sirens. Complete resistance to what is happening. So they go on the episode and Mary, her eyes keep getting worse. They haven't told her yet. She finally almost burns the house down because she's trying to see and she pulls the light closer to her and her eyes are seeing shadows. And so she's trying to pull the light. She almost burns the house down because she knocks the light over, the lantern over. So Pa's like, at some point I've got to tell her. He goes and sits down on a hill. His friend comes up and says, so sorry about what you're going through. I heard about it, but I just want to tell you the railroads have decided they're not coming through town anymore. And Pa says, lesson number 1, because I got chills from head to toe. That's the other thing. Through the episode, as the lessons came, I got chills from head to toe, so I knew what they were talking about. Pa says, had you told me a week ago, I would have been the maddest man you've ever seen. But right now, I don't even care. Doesn't mean anything. So lesson number one, right? Perspective. Our perspective and our perception is our reality. As things go on in the world, look around you and notice the things you love, the things that bring you joy, the things that bring you peace and comfort. And I mean right around you, your family, your pets, your home, your comfort foods, nature, the things that bring that to you, the things that really, really, really matter in the end, your own soul, right? This community, right? So that's lesson number one, right? Perception is reality, or perspective matters, okay? So the episode goes on, and he decides to, he tells Mary, this is what the doctor has said. But we're, basically, he is still in resistance mode. He goes to the church to pray. Kind of a last-ditch effort, turns to God, right? And he's praying. It's a heart-wrenching scene. The Reverend comes in. It's a dark church. It's at night. The Reverend comes in and says, how can I help you? What's going on? And he says, why? Just tell me why. She's 16 years old. She just wants to be a teacher. She's lived a good life. We've all lived a good life. Why is this happening? And the Reverend says what a Reverend says, right? I don't know, but there has to be a reason. We don't know the reason yet, but there has to be a reason, okay? So Pa says, nerds to that. Everything's stupid. The church is stupid. You're stupid. And I'm leaving, and I'm angry, and I'm leaving. The next day, it's a normal morning, and we hear Mary scream, she's gone blind. Okay, it finally happens. It's here. It's a heart-wrenching scene. Again, this is the worst episode, the hardest episode to get through. So Pa goes up to Mary, comforts her, and Pa and Ma, because Mary, it has actually happened, it's upon them, and Mary moves into resistance mode. She's angry, pissed off, won't get dressed, won't move out of the house, or won't get out of the house, won't do anything, won't let anyone do anything for her. She's just pissed. Why is this happening? This should not be happening. So she is in resistance mode. When she is in resistance mode, Ma and Pa, because they know she's in resistance mode, they move out of resistance mode and they go to see the doctor, right? They've accepted what's happened. They don't like it, but they have accepted the reality of what's happened. And now they can move into action. They go see the doctor, and the doctor tells them, send her to this blind school. It's out of state, it's expensive, but it will teach her to be independent and she'll be happy. So they decide to do this, right? Okay, so this is moving into lesson number 2. Mary goes to the blind school. Posset leaves her there. I mean, it's heart-wrenching, right? Because it's in another state and they have to leave their blind daughter in the care of this school. It's awful. And of course, it's a wonderful school. But her teacher is going to be her future husband, but she doesn't know that yet. She's angry. She's pissed. She doesn't like him. She doesn't like the school. She doesn't want to learn anything. She doesn't care. Her life is ruined, and she's just mad at the world and angry and in resistance to what has happened. As she's there, slowly, she realizes she can do some things. And the breakthrough comes when her teacher, who is going to be your future husband, but her teacher tells her, today you're going to learn to read. And she's like, how do I read? And it's the Braille method. And he shows her the Braille on with her hands. It's a beautiful scene. He does a line out of the Bible and reads it to her with her hands. It's beautiful. Anyway. And they show her writing, and she learns to read and write using the Braille method and using a ruler to write in straight lines. And she is out of resistance. And then she excels because she's out of that resistance mode. Okay, so lesson number 2. The right wing, I never got this before. I was so grateful for this lesson. The right wing wants us to be in that resistance mode, angry, resistant, pushing. You can't do this. How dare you, right? Owning the libs. And the reason that is because when you're in resistance, I never got this before. Maybe you guys haven't. I'm slow. I'm slow on the uptake. When you're in resistance mode, you can't move forward. You're stuck. Once you have accepted, not think it's great, just accepted this is what's happening. They're taking our rights away. They're moving into this. They're doing this. Once you have done that, once you have said this is what's happening, and I accept that this is the fact, this is reality, then you can say, now what? Let's move forward and move to change this. Let's move forward and fix this. So it's imperative for us to move out of resistance, anger, how dare you, this is not okay, you're not going to do this, that mode into you have done this. And we are not going to lay down for this. So what's next? How do we fix it, right? So she's out of resistance mode. And of course she excels because she's bright. She's super bright. She was going to be a teacher, so she's super bright. He tells her, of course they fall in love, and he tells her, I'm opening a blind school in this other city. Will you come with me and teach? And she, of course, says yes. And the last scene in the episode, if I cannot cry right now and tell you, it's a beautiful scene where the Reverend talks about, either in church, and Mary comes to say goodbye to the town because she's moving on to be a teacher. And the Reverend says, a little while ago, I came into my church and a father was asking God why the sight had been taken from his child. And I had no answer. All I had was my faith that there was a reason. And he says, now we know the reason. She's going to be a teacher, but she's going to be a teacher for the blind. The third and final, I'm getting chills right now. The third and final message is about higher order. There's always a higher order we can't see. And that higher order is always good. No ifs, ands, or buts. That higher order is always working towards good. It's always working towards the divine. It's always working towards love. So those are the 3 messages. And when we talk about higher order, so often we can't see it until we're past it. And then we look back and say, oh, that led to this, which led to this, which led to this. And if you don't believe me, look at your own life. Look at your own life. Look at the worst moments in your own life and see what came out of them and what brought you to the next phase and the next phase, and it helped you grow and learn. And we can be very resistant to stuff. We can be very unwilling to see or to, and it is a fact that we humans tend to learn through adversity and learn quickly. So on this Mother's Day, I bring you these messages, and I hope that this video helps. That is always I come here with always that pure intention of just wanting to help and wanting to help you find that peaceful, contented, calm place that is inside all of us. While the world is whipping around us, going insane, we have this calm, peaceful, knowing part of us that's connected to the divine that never is extinguished. Nothing can extinguish it. It's eternal. So I hope this helps you. I want to wish you guys a very, very, very happy Mother's Day. No matter how you celebrate it, I hope you do something nice for yourself today. And all you guys out there, we need you. We need you now more than ever. So back up the ladies in your life. Celebrate your moms today. Celebrate Mother Earth. I love you guys. Take care. Okay. Bye.